here at the 2020 Combine in Indianapolis. We have Steve Wyche. Thank you for joining us from NFL Network, which you can follow all the Combine stuff on NFL Network. You guys are going to prime time this year.
Right.
You know, kind of explain, I guess, that change up. I know the NFL is always evolving, always looking for ways to get the fans more involved and to get more eyeballs on the game, whether it's at the Combine or games in general. But it's a big change up to go prime time.
It's a big change-up, but, you know, that serves the insatiable appetite for the NFL, right? Instead of seeing this in like 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, now it's prime time. So you can see some of the stars of tomorrow kind of go through this. And then people who may not have had the opportunity to see it, only see highlights of it, can actually see what these guys go through. There's going to be the sound bites from the coaches and the GMs and all these people involved. But, again, this is like the insatiable appetite for the NFL and for pro football. So we're just delivering what people want. That's all.
Give the people what they want. Okay, you've been doing this a long time, and you've seen young players come in, superstar college players come in, turn out to be, you know, NFL stars. Is there a guy or two that have kind of walked in and you're like, that's a future stud?
Oh yeah, well, just like in terms of
even early on, like you watch Tua come in and you're like, or you watch Joe Burrow come in, like who's some guys that you've kind of looked at and you say like, that's a superstar right there.
Well, I mean, Jerry Jeudy, the wide receiver for Alabama, he's going to be a superstar. You know, the Alabama's turned out some wide receivers lately, and he's the guy. You know, you see someone like Justin Herbert physically, you know, the quarterback for Oregon. You know, the knock on him is like, okay, he comes from a system that's a one-read system, but he meets your physical specs, right? He's the dude who just really looks the part. So when you look at that part of it, but then when you listen to a Joe Burrow, right, and you listen to Tua Tagovailoa, you understand why people follow them. I mean, nobody more so than Tua. When you talk to people around him, you know, here's this Polynesian kid who goes to school in the Deep South, and he's got a completely different culture. And after day 3, everybody, hey, where's Tua? You know, is Tua going to say the prayer before practice? Like, everybody wants to be around him, and you saw that even today. He's going to be the winner of this Combine, even though he's not going to take part in any drills, just because he's such an authentic person.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing we keep talking about. That stuff matters at the Combine, is sitting down with these guys and actually talking to them, not just evaluating what they can do physically, but we keep talking about the importance of getting to know these guys as players, because as players become more marketable, they become the face of your franchise. That stuff matters.
Look, and the one thing these teams know now is they can see the guys who's rehearsed, you know, who have been coached, and who's authentic, because they know these guys can have the same answers for every team they talk to, and these teams talk to each other. Whereas, you know, the authentic ones, they're just going to give it to you, and they're going to see that. So then teams say, okay, what is the culture of our locker room, right? Is it a veteran locker room where maybe the coached-up guy can be nurtured, or are we a younger locker room where they're going to need a young leader to grow up with these guys, and then they make a lot of their decision based on that. But nothing is more important, other than the medical, than the actual face-to-face and getting to know somebody who is going to be part of the culture that you have in your locker room.
You know, from a high-level perspective, you've seen a lot of football. I'm sure you've watched a lot of Vikings football. They're on prime time at times. Sort of high level, what's your thoughts on the 2019 season for the Vikings, and where do you see them going forward?
Yeah, you know, of course, they won the playoff game. I mean, you can't say it wasn't a success, but you always have this back in your mind. You know, a couple of years ago when you went into the NFC Championship and they come back and they sign Kirk Cousins, they brought him in to win it all. And it's not his fault. I mean, I'm not putting any blame on him, but they just have not been able to completely put it together. They've still got pieces, but the injury to Dalvin Cook really took the wind out of the sails, because you saw even at the end of the season when he came back how much different of a team they were. So health, you know, we saw how they can be a physical football team, but can they stay in the mindset to do that week to week? Because we saw the next week they came out and they just couldn't do it. So I think this is a good football team that's still right there, but it's just they've got to find that element that can give them that consistency of week-to-week toughness, because overall the talent is there. I think to me it's just more of a mindset and a mental thing with them.
So maybe I'll close it out with this question then. If the Minnesota Vikings at the end of the 2020 season are holding up the Lombardi Trophy and they're Super Bowl champions, it's because of what?
It's because I grew up in Minnesota and I saw them lose 4 Super Bowls, and they had to do it for me before I die, and I would be the happiest guy in the world if they can hoist that thing up, because I suffered in the 70s with the Purple People Eaters of Fran Tarkington. That is what that'll mean. No, actually, it's because they finally put it together. They stayed healthy, and you know how it works, and they wanted to give me a Lombardi Trophy before I die.
See that, guys? Do it for Steve. Do it for Steve. All right. Thanks a lot.
You got it.